balance of effort and surrender, which we're talking about constantly in yoga, right? And I can never pronounce these words correctly, so excuse my Sanskrit, but abhyasa and vairagya, I always mess it up. So, but those are the two words in Sanskrit that mean um, the first is effort, consistency, doing work diligently, having a goal, following your heart, doing, a consistent practice in yoga, all these things. And then the vairagya is the surrender and the letting go. And it's always this juxtaposition, right? We're trying to balance these two forces, the never give up and always let go simultaneously. And I've been thinking about it today because my daughter, God bless her, she is buying her very first car. It's a very exciting day today. And she has been diligently saving her money. And she's done a great job, right? And so she's able to afford to buy this car. And last night she had to empty her bank account and transfer all her money into my account so I could write the check for the car today. And it was like this moment of, oh my God, I have no money, after all this work of saving, 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 and then to have zero on her bank account was very distressing to her, especially considering she doesn't have the car yet. Like it's, we're getting it today. And so, it was just such a beautiful lesson in non-attachment, that, I mean, kind of attachment, right? Like the art of this balance between she's had this effort all along for a long time to put the effort in to buy a car, and now she has to detach from having money in her bank account. And I think the sense of non-attachment is really an important one that we always have to work with. And when we cultivate non-attachment, a lot of really good things happen. First, we become fearless. When we're not worried about holding on to something super tight, we have a lot more courage. We can, there's less to kind of hurt us, right? If we are just letting things slide and be in the presence of non-attachment. It also takes us off the hamster wheel of, gotta have this, gotta have this, gotta have this. And, the happiness factor being related to what you have and don't have. And I don't necessarily mean materialistic goods, but just whatever it is that you're craving, that you're wanting, that makes you happy. And then when you don't have it, you lose your happiness. And so when we learn the art of non-attachment, we learned how to be consistently joyful and present without having to have the external stimuli influence that so much. So those are really great things. And also non-attachment allows us to be in service in the world in a beautiful way. When we don't have that tit for tat kind of mentality, like I'll scratch back your back if you scratch mine. When we just give freely, we are much more able to be in service in the world in the way we are supposed to be, when we don't have an attachment to what we get as a result. And then lastly, there's this real deep focus that happens when non-attachment comes. When we can let go of all the desires in our head, we have a lot more time to focus on the present moment, what's joyful, what's truly joyful, what feeds us, as well as any task at hand that we are engaging in. So it's not just a simple lip service to, yeah, don't be attached, non-attachment, let it go. It's really a deeply wonderful spiritual practice to cultivate this art. And we all need to cultivate it. It's not something that comes easily. Our ego likes to attach. We're very sticky. Our ego's like, no, mine, mine, mine. So it does require a lot of work to do this. So don't be fooled into thinking that it's an easy thing. And also don't beat yourself up when you struggle with it, because it is our human nature. Okay, so let's go ahead and sit up straight and tall. Close your eyes and think about something that you've been efforting toward. Maybe it's healing an injury or working on a project, or doesn't matter what it is, whatever it is. How attached have you become to the results of your efforts, the fruits of your labor? And see if instead you can become like a tree. The tree drops its fruit and it has no attachment to what that means. I mean, I assume, I don't know what it feels like to be inside of a tree spirit, but the idea of being able to work hard towards something and then just let it go. The efforts, what we're in charge of, and the results are not under our control. So let's just take a moment and think about whatever it is you have been working on. And can you consciously let go of the results? Maybe you'll never get the results you're looking for. Maybe they're just around the corner. Maybe you already gotten the results and you're attached to the results. See if you can let your body relax. Practice the art of letting go, even in your skin. Let any tension you feel around your eyes or jaw soften. See if you can let the breath be an act of surrender as you exhale. Feel into the body and feel the ways that surrender can come. Letting go can come. So if you have trouble holding on to what you want, find little places in your body that teach you the lesson of surrender. So the next time you find yourself gripping, holding, attaching, maybe you can come to this part of your body and sit with it for a moment and enjoy the feeling of surrender. Notice the breath. And place the palms together at your heart. And can you balance this deep, contrary experiences of never give up and always let go? Offer your intention for your practice today. What do you need? And then let's release the hands and come onto our back. Let's come to lie down. All right. So just see what it feels like to open your body out on the floor, spread your limbs, get your joints to become a little bit more free. Let's go ahead and circle our wrists and our ankles while we are lying here. So hopefully it's comfortable to be flat on your back, but if it's not, feel free to bend your knees and put your feet on the floor. You can always choose a different pathway. So as you roll out your wrists and ankles, go the other direction now, spin the other way. All right, and then relax that and just notice if you have a little more sensation going on in your feet and in your hands. Then stretch your arms overhead, lengthen through your sides. So reach into the left, reach into the right, get your hips to start moving a little bit, your shoulders to start moving a little bit. Wake up, notice how the breath feels when your arms are stretched overhead. And of course, if it's hard and difficult to bring your arms overhead, bring them out to the side. Wherever you're going, see if you can lengthen and stretch. All right, let's bring the knees into the chest. Go ahead and rock left and right a little bit. And just see what this feels like on your sacrum and on your low back. And just rock. Circle if you want. Circling your knees one direction, circling your knees another direction. Breathing deeply. All right, and then let's open the knees out and bring the knees back in and open them out and bring them back in. Just feeling some warming in your hip joints. All right, right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Give it a good squeeze and then switch. Left knee into the chest, right leg long. Give it a good squeeze and switch. And just go back and forth, feeling the compression into the hip as much as you feel the length in the opposite hip. So feel those oppositional forces of one being compressed and one opening up. How's your breath? As you're going back and forth, feeling your core warm a little bit. All right, and then go ahead and bring the knees back in toward the chest. Finding the breath again. Take a deep breath in, stretch your limbs wide. Open up, wiggle the toes and the fingers. Exhale, knees into the chest, chin up. Let's find our way. Broadly open the body, spread out through the hands and feet. Exhale, draw everything into a tight little ball. And one more time, expanding outward. Exhale, drawing inward. All right, let's put our feet onto the ground. Feet are hip width or a little wider, and let's just go back and forth with our knees, left and right. Just start warming up through the hips a little bit. Maybe you can feel this through the top of your hip or in the back of your pelvis, maybe in your side waist or your back. Just finding what you're finding. Breathe as you go. All right, and then place your feet onto the ground and pause here for a moment. Relax the shoulders down. Find your breath. Soften through the skull. Relax your eyes. Melt into the floor. Just find this constructive rest position where we're really just softening for a moment. See if you can let your whole body feel the feeling that you found in that one spot in your body. So can you allow all your bones to drop? This is the gift of Shavasana every class we take, is that we learn the art of letting go of the body. So practice this just a little bit here, this sense of non-attachment to anything. We're not attaching to what we're about to go do in our practice. We're not attaching to holding tension. Let go of the attachment to whatever you're ruminating on inside your head. Come into the breath. All right, let's go ahead and roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. So as you find your way onto all fours, take a moment just to make sure your hands are in good placement. You can always put your fists on the floor or put forearms on blocks if you need to. And if your knees aren't comfortable being on the ground, try a little extra padding and see how you do. Let's start to move through some cat-cows, arching and rounding the spine, taking your time to feel into the body. Noticing any part of you that might need a little extra attention, a little extra care. Stay present with your breath. All right, and then let's find any kind of movement that your body wants to find. So feel free to swirl around in the pelvis a little bit. Moving your hips. Moving your shoulders, anything that feels good. You can sway from side to side. All right, great. And then let's find our way down to child's pose. If you can't go deep into the flexion of your knees or hips, maybe have blankets or a bolster behind your hips on top of your shins. Maybe come forward a little bit more with your arms, just see what you need. Relax your forehead toward the floor and soften through the skull. Deep breath in and away. Let's take a breath and walk our hands over to the right side of our mat and open up the rib cage here. Enjoy the breath. Relax your head. Drop weight down into the hips. And then come back to center and inch over to the other side. As you find your way here, notice what it feels like to breathe. Okay, relax through the base of the skull. Stay present. What is easily able to let go here? Can you find a sense of non-attachment? Can you balance that with the effort of just staying deeply present for your practice, not wandering off in your mind somewhere. All right, and then come back to center and come up onto your hands and your feet for dog pose. Lengthen through your spine. If doing dog pose is too much for your shoulders, feel free, or your neck, feel free to go ahead and put your hands on a piece of furniture for half dog. There's always ways to modify everything. Okay, so if you ever have questions, let me know on how you might need to modify. Take your femur bones back, lift your knees up, up, up into your hips, and lengthen your spine. Feel that rooting in the pelvis so you can take your thigh bones back. Soften your knees as much as you need to. Let them bend a bit so that the spine can grow. Relax the head. Feel your hands hug in toward the midline, feeling that stabilization through your torso. Take some deep breaths here. How does it feel? Where are you efforting? Where are you releasing? Can you balance the forces? Is your effort filled with ease? Do you have a sense that you can be very relaxed and centered in your effort? And then come back onto all fours for a moment. Have a cat-cow or any kind of movement that you want. And then let's find a twist. Reach the arm all the way up in the air and slide whatever arm you're choosing to go first underneath. Feeling the twist, feeling the stretch behind your shoulder blades. Let your head gaze or turn your eyes to gaze down toward the floor so that your neck is not tweaked in this pose. Deep breaths here. Great, and then inhale, reach that arm all the way back up, place the hand down onto the ground and change sides. Arm up, exhale and slide that arm through. Deep inhale, longer exhale. How's the head? Are you relaxing the neck? All right, and then lift that arm all the way back up to the sky again. Place the hand down onto the ground. Find your way back to dog pose again. So second time around, and always modify. You can come down onto your forearms. See what's here. So if you are able to be here, roll the triceps under and the biceps toward the sky. Hug the hands toward each other so the strength of this posture comes from the back instead of from the neck and upper shoulders. Relax, melt your head down. See what it feels like to feel the base of the skull soften, the jaw relax. Is there a place for surrender within your effort? Spread out the hands and the feet. Feel the sit bones lift. Bend your knees as much as you want. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold a little bit, bend your knees. Feel free to wag your tail, roll your shoulders, move your head around, whatever feels nice. Inhale for a halfway lift. The thigh bones move back, the palms around the thighs so you can feel that pressure moving back. Extend the spine and then melt a little bit more, folding in half. Push off your feet, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Maybe your arms come out instead, or cactus your arms to see what feels good. Big open chest here. Pause in your big open chest. Enjoy. Stretch out through your hands. And then turn your palms to face the walls. I'm trying to do these nerve glides often since everybody's on their computer too much these days. Spread out your hands and imagine you're trying to lift your fingertips up, up, up toward the sky. Lift your chest, drop your shoulder blades down and open across your collarbones. Then release and relax your arms. Shrug your shoulders a few times, rolling them up toward the sky, back and down. And then feel that sense of the shoulder blades staying down the back. So you don't want to lock the shoulder blades on the back, but just have that sense that they're drifting downward, and then press your palms out again. Lift your left ear up, up, up. Breathe. Breathe into the side of your neck. And then come back to center and lift your right ear up, up, up. Shoulders are still dropping down. Press the hands. Lift the fingers. And then release the arms. Roll around your wrists, shake out your wrists, shake out your fingers. Take a deep breath in, big shoulder rolls. Exhale and fold forward. Relax your spine. Bend your knees. Inhale for a halfway lift, straighten your knees. Exhale and fold back down. Step your left foot back, come to a lunge. Finding your breath here. Let's go ahead and place the back knee down onto the floor. Go ahead and rise up a little bit. Feel your hands come onto your knee. See what it feels like now. If there's too much pressure on your back knee, go ahead and lift the back knee off the floor. There's no reason why you have to have it down. Open up through your chest. Feel the psoas stretch. When you're ready, reach that arm up in the air, and if it's not comfortable, you can bring it out. Stabilize. Hug your front heel and back knee toward each other. Finding the breath, let's come into a twist. Forearm comes onto the thigh. Lift the spine. Enjoy the stretch through your hip. Deep breaths here. Drop the shoulders and open across your collarbones. And then release the hands down onto the ground. Lift your back knee up off the floor and walk your back foot in a lot. So you're in Parsvottanasana legs. Put your blocks on their highest height, or maybe even stack one block with the other on top. So get some height underneath you so your spine can grow long. Feel free to take your left foot out to your right foot out to the right a little bit more. Extending the spine, squaring the hips, feeling the hamstrings open. Lengthen. And now usually we bend our knee, but today we're going to bend our chin or our head. So tuck the chin toward the chest and then lift the chin away from the chest. Tuck the chin toward the chest. Lengthen the chin away. Feel the length of your spine now. Square hips. Lift to your right femur bone into the hip joint. Inner spiral your thighs. Feel the roots of your feet. And then we're going to go ahead and come on up with our hands either on our hips, out to the side, or up in the air. You decide how you want to be. Lift and lengthen through the whole front line of your body. Feel your heart grow, and then come just a little bit down, and you decide how far down you want to be. So there's a lot of work that has to happen. We're no longer just stretching our hamstring, we're flexing it too. So root your feet down, square the hips, stabilize yourself. Finding the breath. And then go ahead and release your hands down to the ground. Walk your back foot forward, halfway lift. And we're going to go back through that backwards. So first just start in Parsvottanasana legs. So the left foot is forward, the right foot is back. Find your breath. Go ahead and feel any height you need. So if you want to put the blocks higher, you can. Root into the left big toe as you reach the left hip back. Find the inner thighs rolling back, the sit bones widening. Root into the feet and soften the knees. Square the hips and extend the spine. And let's go ahead and find that sense of tucking the chin toward the chest and lifting the chin away from the chest. Keep the hips stable. Keep grounding through your feet. Maintain your breath. All right, then we're going to go ahead and climb up onto our feet. Reach the arms up or out or wherever you want them to be. Find an open chest. And then we're going to bring our hands onto our hips and come forward. And you can do this you can have your arms anywhere you want. I think it's most stable to have your hands on your hips. Root your feet into the earth. Feel the flex stretch in that hamstring. So there's a lot of work that has to happen in your left glute and your hamstring, even though they're stretching. So balance those points of flex and stretch. You can do two opposing actions simultaneously. See what it feels like to have ease. Relax into your effort. Breathe into your effort. And then come back up. Reaching the arms to the sky. Open the chest. Place the hands down onto the ground and bring your back knee onto the floor. Find a sense of openness through that hip flexor. Decide whether you want your back toes to curl under or lay flat. Just enjoy this for a moment. And when you're ready, we're going to lift that one arm, the left arm up in the air, the right arm up in the air. Find some weight coming down onto your other hand, onto the thigh. Hug your front heel and back knee toward each other. Feel the stable legs. How's your breath? And then cross your arm over to your thigh and lift your chest. See what it feels like to broaden across your collarbones, to keep the lengthening the crown tail line, to stabilize your legs by hugging your inner thighs toward the midline, as well as your front heel and your back knee toward each other. Allow the shoulders to soften. How does this side feel different from the other? All right, come back, come out of there, come onto all fours. Have a moment of a cat-cow. And then if your body's ready for a little bit deeper back bend, come to lie down on the floor on your belly. Either rise up in cobra pose with your forearms in front of you. This is a nice way to stabilize without having to put weight on your hands. And if you prefer, go ahead and find cobra pose. And feel free to breathe a couple times. Exhale on the way down, inhaling on the way up. Back of the neck is long. Stabilize through your core, not just your glutes. And rest on your belly for a moment. Turn your head to the side. Let your arms rest down. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your feet left and right. Just let your back soften. Turn your head the other way. And then if you're comfortable, not everybody's comfortable lying on their belly, but if you're comfortable, put your feet down and allow yourself to have the offering of surrender into the earth here. So we're used to doing it on our backs in Shavasana, but not always so used to melting with our front side moving into the earth. So just take a moment to relax your body. Breathe fully. And then come back up. Come on to all fours. That was a long time to be on your belly, so feel free to swivel things around. Move your spine into a cat-cow if you want, whatever feels nice. Spread out the hands and find your way to dog pose again. What can you melt here? Can you detach from where we're going? Relax your head. Be here now. Bend your knees. Stay in the breath. You don't have to bend your knees, but you can bend your knees. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold a little bit. And then when you're ready, let's rise up. Okay. Put a block between your thighs for a moment. Okay. And we're going to come into chair pose. Now remember, your chair pose can be with your knees drawing back toward your hips. You don't have to have your arms overhead, and you can have your arms overhead. Okay, so you do you. There's a lot of stability with this block, so feel it. Hug your inner thighs toward the block gently. It doesn't have to be anything super strong. Just find that stable force. Drop weight into the heels. And as you start to effort in your thighs, can there be a relaxation that comes with it? What part of your body, maybe your shoulders, maybe something in your face, maybe it's your palms, what part of your body can you melt a little bit more? Finding the breath. Okay. If you're able to, bring your palms together at your heart, stand up for a moment. We're going to just take a gentle twist within this pose. When we come back down, squat again, and we're just going to turn our torso to the right. Use your obliques to do this, so try to stay stable with the lower body, and then come back, and we're going to turn our torso to the left. And then come back up, stand up straight and tall, and relax. Take the block out of there for a moment and find just a standing posture. Close your eyes for a minute. We're going to wake up the obliques. We need the obliques for twisting. We're about to do a couple of twisting poses. So we're going to just do this in a little bit different way than we usually do. So hands come onto your hips, or hands can be behind your head, whichever feels comfortable. You can also have your arms out to the side, so whatever works for you. And we're just going to tip like a little teapot A lot of times when we do this, I have you kind of leaning onto one side. We're going to try to keep 2 feet on the floor. Lengthen through your spine, even though your arms may not be overhead. Can you stabilize through your waist? How's your breath? And then come back to center. And then go to the other side. What does it feel like to inner spiral the thighs, soften the knees, drop weight into the feet, and stabilize through your side waist? Okay, come back up. All right, inhale. Lifting the arms up and out, or wherever you want to be, fold in half. Relax your spine. Inhale for a halfway lift. Then exhale and melt. Come all the way to the floor. We're going to come back up, but just for now, come down onto the ground. And we're going to do a little bit more traditional of a obliques efforting. Okay. So first, just go ahead and bring your knees toward your chest and see what that feels like. Arms are going to come out to the sides, palms facing up. Now, I want you to be really mindful of how far you go in this pose so that you're not overdoing. It's easy to make the back do the work of the core when it doesn't want to kick in. So I want this to be about your obliques doing the work instead of your back body. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to drop your knees toward your elbow and then lift them back up. And then drop them the other way. So your your knees might come all the way to your elbows. Your knees might go 1 inch past the midline. And sometimes, a lot of times, less is more. So see if you can just hone in to the core stabilization where we're using our obliques to do this. So really, truly, only go as far as you can stabilize with both sides of your obliques instead of letting your knees fall and then your back's kind of hanging out there in space. And you have to do this heave-ho to get your knees back up. Try to lose the heave-ho. Stabilize the whole way on the way up and on the way down. So this pose might be very shallow. You may not be going very deep, and that's a good thing. And you might be going deep. Maybe you feel real stable and you can take your knees all the way to your elbows. So you do you. Just make sure you are doing today's you and not, tomorrow's you or yesterday's you. Just be here in whatever's capable in your body right now. How are you breathing? Belly turning pose. That's the name of this pose. And it's really good not just to strengthen the obliques, but it's really good. Do you feel how nice it is on your spine and on your internal organs? I hope it feels nice to you. All right, and then let's relax. Put your feet on the floor. Find your breath, and we're going to lift up to a bridge. Okay. Climb up onto your shoulders. Arms are down on the ground. Don't interlace your hands underneath you unless you feel real confident. Maybe have your hands next to you or your arms, along the sides of your body, and then press your arms into the floor. Keep the back of your neck neutral, so don't press the back of your neck into the ground. Feel the pelvis stability. So hug on to the sacrum. And we're just going to hang out here for a breath or two and just feel the work. Can you rest and find a sense of non-attachment to what's happening? Can you let go? Imagine an imaginary block between your thighs. How are the 4 corners of your feet? How is your breath? All right, let's go ahead and lower our pelvis down to the ground. Relax for a moment. Back to this constructive rest. Deep breath in. Deep breath away. How are you? Are you in your body? Are you treating your body with respect? Is your practice supporting you? All right, let's roll over onto our side and come up into dog pose again. So stretch through your body. Feel the breath, extend through the spine. Let's go ahead and however you like to get there, we're going to bring our right foot forward. So remember, you can come down onto your knees and bring your foot forward. This is a nice way to transition more gently from instead of just coming into dog pose and swinging the leg up and swinging it through. Sometimes putting 2 knees down on the floor first and then bringing your foot forward can be a really nice way of transitioning. Come on up, grab your blocks. All right, shorten up your stance. So your back foot's going to come in. So our right foot's forward, our left foot is back. And you can have lots of height stacked underneath you. So we're back to Parsvottanasana. So take your stance, not only the length that you want it to be, but the width that you want it to be. And once you feel stable in your legs, come on up and bring the arms to the sky or out, or you can platter your arms and open the chest a little bit, finding the breath. We're going to come forward, bring your right hand on your hip, and come forward, reaching that arm and place the hand down onto the block. So you might need to adjust. I always feel like I have to adjust my feet a little bit once I'm down here, and then start to twist open into Pavrita Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. So our right foot is forward and our left hand is on the block. And as we twist to the right, open up the collarbones, spread your chest, keep the shoulder blades rooting, feel the balance in your pelvis. See if you can help yourself by using those oblique muscles that we just woke up. Let them help you exhale and twist. Compact into the center of the body a little bit more. So use your obliques, hug the femur bones into the hip joints. So you're not popping your hip out to the side. Let the spine lengthen. Okay, and then relax and melt back to forward and walk your back foot forward. Bend your knees a lot. Swirl in on yourself a bit. Halfway lift. Take your feet hip width apart to do this. Let's go ahead and take the right foot back. The left foot is now forward. The stance is shorter. Maybe you need to take your left foot out to the left more. Find whatever's working for you. Rise up when you're ready. Hands can be on your hips. Arms can be open in any way you want them to be. Open the chest. Lift through the spine. Feel the roots of your feet. Start to come forward. When you do, place your left hand on your hip. Reach that right arm. Maybe it's one block. Maybe you have 2 blocks. Just find whatever height you need underneath you. It's very common to hyperextend your front knee and kind of like lean into the joints. So this is where the effort comes in. So we want to use our muscles. So soften that knee joint, root into the feet, pull the hip back and hug both hips toward the midline. So you're not sticking your hip out. It's real easy to stick the hip out to the side, the left hip out to the side. Hug that hip in, feel the extension of your spine, and start to turn, open. Use your obliques on your exhale. So part of the effort isn't just the physical effort of hugging muscle to bone, but it's also the mental effort of staying in the alignment, staying in the presence of what you feel in your body, trying to move well in your body, staying with the breath. These take effort, consciousness, focus, attention. It's not just like grunt and bear it effort. It's the focal point effort that we're talking about. Can you surrender? All right, let's go ahead and melt to come back out of there and place 2 hands on the ground, come back onto all fours. Cat-cow. And then rest back in child's pose. Find the symmetry of your posture here. Relax for a moment. Then one more standing twist we're going to do, and then we'll neutralize the sacrum a bit after twisting. So let's go ahead and come on to all fours and bring that right foot forward again. So we're back to the twist we did earlier, but this time we're going to lift our back knee off the ground. You can always choose to keep it on the ground if you want. And you get to decide how deep into this twist is. So you can start, we haven't done a real open thigh pose yet. So feel the crescent lunge if you want to for a moment before twisting. And your choices are staying upright and twisting, putting your hand on the floor or a block and twisting, putting your elbow to the outside of the knee and twisting. You can even bring your hand on a block on the outside of the leg. So there's so many choices. So you find what's working for your body. Go with the breath. Take the breath with you. Be guided by your breath. Be guided by the movement of your obliques on your exhales. Let that back thigh lift in the air. No matter what twist you're doing, lift the femur bone up. Extend the spine. Use your breath. Soften your shoulders and open your collarbones. Okay, great. And then relax your way out of that twist. Put your back knee onto the floor, back onto all four as you go. Cat cow, so enjoy a little bit of back bend, enjoy a little bit of a rounded spine. And then let's find our way to the second side. So our left foot is coming forward. Our right foot is long back there. So we're in a longer stance than before. Rise up, crescent lunge. Reach your arms anywhere you want them to be. You can platter the arms to keep those shoulder blades in scaption, or you can bring your arms up, see what feels nice. Full breaths here. Slide the shoulder blades down the back a bit. And then find your variation of the twist. Maybe it's arms out. Maybe it's hand on a block or the floor. Maybe it's deeper and you bring your elbow to the outer knee. Okay, so whatever you're choosing to do, make sure your obliques are working with you on your exhales. Keep the spine growing. Go as light into the pose as your body needs. Go as deep into the pose as your effort allows. Deep breaths. All right, and then when you're ready, come out of that pose, back onto all fours, you go. Okay, so find your way, maybe a cat-cow, and then, that's enough twisting for now. And after twisting, we always want to do something very neutral with the pelvis to let the sacroiliac joints and the low back neutralize after, maybe a little bit of pressure on those joints. So we're going to come onto our back again, and we're going to find bridge pose in a couple of different ways. So as you lie down, have a block handy. The first way we're going to do it is put a block between your thighs, just like we did with chair pose earlier. The feet are on the floor. Take a breath and lift your pelvis up. So once again, remember, don't worry about the depth of trying to interlace your arms underneath you and get super high. A lot of times when people go that deeply with their shoulders, well, the only thing that ends up happening is a lot of neck compression. So take into the open chest as much as you can, but don't feel like you have to lock your hands underneath you. Hug the block. Gently hug the block. Lift the pelvis up. Have your feet straight. So if you feel like you're turning out at all, turn your heels out and toes in a little bit more to have neutral feet. And then root into all four corners of your feet, your big toes, your pinky toes, the inner and outer heels. Breathe deeply. Enjoy this pose. Relax your neck. All right, and then let's go ahead and slowly lower the pelvis down to the floor. Undo your shoulders, relax a moment. Okay. With this block, see if you can just feel a sense of ease. So it's gently still hugging the block, but let it be kind of a grounding force instead of a deep squeeze. Melt what you can, surrender. And then when you're ready, we're going to take this block and we're going to put it under our pelvis now. So you get to decide whether you want bridge pose with the block on the lowest height or whether you want the block on the middle height. If you want higher than that, you need to stack up 2 blocks so that the whole width, this width of the block is underneath your pelvis and sacrum. So decide, don't assume the higher is better. Don't assume lower is better. Just maybe experiment and say, does that feel best? Does that feel best? And some days different things feel better than other days. So whatever you're choosing to do, relax your shoulders. Start to feel that there's ease here, that you can let go. Go back to that place in your body where you were able to find surrender. See if you can ripple out from there. You spread out that surrender, spread out the softness through the rest of your body. Breathing deeply. If your back is in a really happy, healthy place, you might consider stretching your legs straight if the block's on the lowest height and have your heels down on the ground. That's a pretty big stretch. So make sure that your spine likes this. You can even do one at a time if you want, one leg at a time. But ultimately, I'd love for you to stay in a symmetrical pose. All right, now we're going to bring our knees. When you're ready, there's no rush. Bring the knees toward the chest. So a little bit of traction on the low back. See what it feels like. Have the block kind of pull a little bit on your low back. And feel free to pull your knees apart. Feel free to bring your knees closer. Deep breaths here. All right, and then when we are coming out of this pose, I want you to think about where you're going next. Choose a restorative pose. So I'm trying to add in a few restoratives here and there. You know, it's the time of year for restoratives. With the darkness coming, the longest day of the year is right around the corner, or the longest night of the year, I should say. So when you choose a restorative pose, it would be helpful today if you choose one that's symmetrical. So I wouldn't do the twist over a bolster. You could choose doing child's pose over a bolster. You could choose doing leg up the wall pose. You can choose doing Supta Baddha Konasana, where you lie down and butterfly your knees out, soles of the feet together. There's lots of choices. You can do heart bench with one block between your shoulder blades and one block underneath the base of your skull. So there are lots of choices for something that's symmetrical and restorative. It might be just a longer Shavasana. So you decide, maybe you want Shavasana with your calves up on a couch or a chair. So as you come into your pose, the most important thing to remember is that, are you supported? Ask yourself, am I supported? Do you have the props that you need so that your body can truly surrender and let go in this pose? Our nervous system does not like to hang in space. So if we are trying to cultivate this deep art of non-attachment in our body, we need to have some support underneath us so we can drop, so we can let things go. So make sure your body feels supported. And then once you do, wherever you are, melt. This is the practice. Learning to let go, breath by breath. Notice what's in the mind, notice what's in the body, and allow things to soften, settle, and surrender. Stay connected to your breathing. So as you are ready to transition and there's zero rush, you might want to just stay here and begin your Shavasana here. But I also want to give you an opportunity to do a couple of more stretches to release any part of your body that's tense. So as you come out, if you're ready to come out of whatever pose you're in, maybe try a hip stretch like reverse pigeon pose. Maybe try a happy baby pose. Choose what is needed. What is needed in your body right now? It may be what is needed is to stay right where you are and not move. No matter what you're choosing to do, stay present with your breath. Stay present with the ease that started in that restorative pose, the art of surrender, detachment. See if you can stay with that feeling in the body. What's able to drop? How is your skin? What's the condition of your exhales? And as you're preparing, so as you finish whatever poses you're in, and there's no rush, do both sides if you've got a two-sided thing. But let yourself, as you come toward Shavasana, remember that this isn't just the like good, my practice is done and I get to rest for a minute. This is a deep part of your practice. Shavasana is. That's, one would argue, the most important part of your practice. So, especially when we're working with cultivating, practicing the art of non attachment, this is the time to do it. Okay, so, as you come into Shavasana, stay present for it. Stay present in the mind. Get comfortable. So, whatever that means to you, however you need your body to be in space, supported in any way, warm blankets over you, eye pillows, anything that you need. And as you drop in, consciously surrender the body. Notice places that are hard for you to let go. Can you rest the full weight of your head? Is your neck holding tension? There's nothing to hold up at the moment. Can it surrender? How about the inner walls of your throat wrapping all around your trachea? Can you soften? Is your chest free? Can you melt your ribs toward the floor, your shoulder blades? Are your limbs ready to spring into action, or are they content to drop? Has your diaphragm been able to let go? Is there lots and lots of room to breathe? How about the pelvic floor? Are you holding tension in your pelvis or your hips or your sacrum? How about your skin? Can you loosen your skin? Loosen the eyes. Let's begin to deepen the breath again. Spend a couple of breaths here before you move. So let that consciousness be around letting go. Focus your effort, your attention on the presence of your body, the presence of your mind in your body. There's easy ways to transition where you don't move very much, and then some people like to have big, huge stretches to kind of wake up their nervous system again. So, however you like to come out of Shavasana is great. However you're moving, take the time to come onto your side before coming up. And as you sit upright, just see what's here. What is your practice giving you today? Offer your non-attached energy. Okay, so flow freely and offer yourself in service to another. Can you just give your heart over a bit to somebody? Let your energy flow. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.